What happens when a global movie star walks onto a live daytime talk show expecting a friendly conversation, and instead finds himself in a tense, unscripted clash? That's exactly what unfolded when Leonardo DiCaprio sat down across from Sara Haines, and no one in the studio saw it coming. Make sure to subscribe to Final Take Files, and like and comment for more talk show coverage. The applause starts before he even walks out. The audience is on their feet. It's loud, it's warm, the kind of welcome reserved for someone who rarely does daytime television. Sara smiles wide as he steps out, waving, slightly reserved but gracious. Sara, Leonardo DiCaprio is here. Thank you for being here. Leonardo, thank you for having me. This is a lively crowd. Audience laughs lightly. Applause fades as they sit. Sara, we don't get you on shows like this very often. Leonardo, I know. I tend to keep a low profile. But I'm happy to be here. They sit. It feels easy at first. The kind of polished small talk that always opens these segments. Sara, so, congratulations on the new project. It's already generating Oscar buzz. Leonardo nods modestly. Leonardo, I try not to think about that stuff, but I'm proud of the film. It deals with some heavy issues. Sara, you're known for that. Big themes. Social issues. Environmental messaging. Leonardo, yeah. It's important to use whatever platform you have responsibly. Audience claps in agreement. Sara leans slightly forward. Her tone shifts just a bit, still friendly, but pointed. Sara, speaking of platforms, you've been very outspoken about climate change. Private jets, yachts, that conversation comes up a lot online. How do you respond to people who say your lifestyle doesn't match your message? There's a slight pause. Not long, but noticeable. Leonardo smiles, but it's tighter. Leonardo, I expected that question. Audience murmurs softly. Sara, well, it's something people talk about. Leonardo, sure. And I understand why. But I also invest heavily in conservation, renewable projects. I've dedicated decades to this work. Sara, but do you see why it feels contradictory to some? Leonardo, I think what feels contradictory is simplifying a complex issue into headlines. Audience makes that oh reaction, not hostile, but sensing tension. Sara keeps her composure. Sara, I'm not trying to simplify it. I'm asking what viewers are asking. Leonardo, and I'm answering honestly. Climate change isn't solved by one person flying commercial. It's systemic. Sara nods slowly. Sara, absolutely. But personal responsibility still matters, doesn't it? The audience quiets. The energy shifts. Leonardo leans back slightly. Leonardo, of course it does. But there's a difference between personal accountability and performative purity. A few scattered claps. A few raised eyebrows. Sara, are you saying criticism of you is performative? Leonardo, I'm saying sometimes public discourse prefers symbolism over substance. Audience reacts. Mixed. Sara crosses her legs, stays calm. Sara, I think some people just want consistency. Leonardo, and I live consistently with my values. I fund climate litigation. I work with scientists. I've spoken at the UN. Sara, no one's denying your contributions. Leonardo, but the conversation often ignores them. There's that pause again. The kind you only feel on live TV. Sara, let me ask you this then. Do you ever feel like being a celebrity makes it harder to have this conversation? Leonardo exhales slightly, relieved at the pivot. Leonardo, yes. Because everything becomes personal. Instead of talking about policy, we talk about vacation photos. Audience laughs. Sara, that's part of fame though. Leonardo, it is. And I accept that. But sometimes it derails the larger message. Sara tilts her head. Sara, or maybe it humanizes it. Audience reacts again, louder this time. Leonardo looks at her directly. Leonardo, humanizing is good. Hypocrisy narratives are less helpful. The word hangs there. Sara, no one used the word hypocrisy. Leonardo, it's implied in the question. The crowd goes very quiet. Sara doesn't smile now. Not unfriendly, just firm. Sara, I'm not here to imply anything. I'm here to ask. Leonardo, and I'm here to answer. Beat. Audience applause tries to break the tension, but it's hesitant. Sara shifts in her chair. Sara, okay. Let's stay on the broader issue then. What do you say to young people who feel frustrated by slow change? Leonardo softens slightly. Leonardo, I say keep pushing. Hold leaders accountable. Vote. Organize. Demand systemic reform. Audience claps more comfortably now. Sara, and celebrities? Leonardo gives a half smile. Leonardo, celebrities should probably spend more time funding solutions and less time defending vacation choices. Some laughter breaks out. The tension dips, but not fully gone. Sara smiles again. Sara, that's fair. Leonardo, look, I don't mind tough questions. But context matters. Sara, and I don't mind strong answers. The audience claps louder now. They like that. Sara glances at her cards. Sara, let's talk about the film itself, because that's why you're here. Leonardo nods, but his posture is still guarded. Sara, there's a scene, no spoilers, where your character calls out corporate greed. It's powerful. Did that resonate personally? Leonardo, it did. Because I've seen firsthand how corporate interests block environmental progress. Sara, do you ever feel Hollywood is part of that machine? Audience reacts sharply. That question lands. Leonardo pauses longer this time. Leonardo, Hollywood is a business. Like any industry, it has flaws. Sara, including excess? Leonardo looks straight at her. Leonardo, including excess. Audience murmurs. Sara, and you're part of it. Leonardo, yes. And I try to push for change within it. Sara, but is that enough? That's the moment. A shift in air. A tightening. Leonardo's jaw flexes slightly. Leonardo, change rarely happens from the outside. Sara, sometimes it does. Leonardo, sometimes it takes people on the inside willing to take criticism. The audience claps loudly at that. It feels pointed. Sara nods slowly. Sara, so you're okay with criticism? Leonardo, constructive criticism, yes. Sara, and today's? He pauses. Looks at her. Looks at the audience. Leonardo, I think we're still figuring that out. The audience gasps softly, not scandalized, but aware something real just happened. Sara holds his gaze. Sara, fair enough. There's a tight smile between them. Polite. Controlled. The segment clock is ticking, but the energy in the room has completely changed from the beginning. Sara glances toward off-camera producers briefly, just a flicker. Sara, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the film and maybe lighten things up a little. Audience applause swells, louder than necessary, like they're trying to release the pressure. Leonardo nods, still composed. As the cameras pull back, you can see they're both still smiling, but it's the kind of smile people wear when they know something just shifted. And this was only the beginning. The applause as they return from commercial feels tighter this time, not as carefree as when he first walked out. There's an awareness in the room now. Sara smiles toward the camera. Sara, we're back with Leonardo DiCaprio. Before the break, we were having a thoughtful conversation. A few audience members laugh at that phrasing. Leonardo nods. That's one word for it. Light laughter again. The edge is still there, but both are playing it cool. Sara turns to him. I appreciate you staying open. Not everyone leans into tough questions. Leonardo shrugs slightly. It's part of the job. Sara studies him for a second. Do you feel misunderstood? Leonardo doesn't answer immediately. I think people sometimes reduce things to headlines. It's easier that way. Sara, and the headline about you? Leonardo, depends who's writing it. Audience chuckles. Sara presses gently. There's a perception that you speak about climate responsibility while living a very high-consumption lifestyle. A small ripple moves through the crowd again. Leonardo keeps his voice calm. I've heard it. Sara, does it frustrate you? Leonardo, it can. Because it ignores the work, the funding, the partnerships, the policy efforts. Sara nods. But do you understand why people expect more from you than from, say, their neighbor? Leonardo, of course. Visibility changes the rules. Sara, including the scrutiny. Leonardo, yes. That simple answer lands stronger than anything defensive would have. Sara softens slightly. Have you ever thought about scaling back publicly? Flying commercial more often, for example. A few audience members react instantly. Leonardo gives a faint smile. I do fly commercial. Sara raises her eyebrows playfully. Often. Audience laughs. Leonardo doesn't laugh this time. When it makes sense. Sara notices the shift. I'm not trying to trap you. Leonardo, I know. But it becomes about optics quickly. Sara, optics matter though. Leonardo, they do. But optics aren't impact. That gets a louder reaction, a mix of clapping and murmurs. Sara tilts her head. So what's impact to you? Leonardo, funding grassroots organizations. Backing climate legislation. Supporting renewable infrastructure. Sara, behind the scenes. Leonardo, that's where real change often happens. There's a pause. The audience is listening more carefully now. Sara, do you ever get tired of defending yourself? Leonardo exhales, honest this time. Yes. It's quiet. Sara nods slowly. That feels real. Leonardo, but I also understand the questions. I chose a public platform. Sara, and with that comes accountability. Leonardo, it should. That answer earns genuine applause. Sara shifts gears slightly. Let's talk about celebrity activism more broadly. Do you think actors should even weigh in on political or environmental issues? Leonardo answers quickly. If they care, yes. Sara, even if they're not experts? Leonardo, then they should amplify experts. Audience claps. Sara smiles faintly. Some viewers feel celebrities preach. Leonardo, sometimes they do. The audience laughs. That honesty disarms the tension a bit. Sara, so how do you avoid that? Leonardo, by listening more than speaking. Sara, do you? Leonardo pauses. I try to. Another beat. Sara glances at her card but doesn't read it. There's also the Hollywood factor. Big studios. Big budgets. Private events. It can look excessive. Leonardo nods. Hollywood is excessive. Audience laughs. Sara, and you're part of it. Leonardo, yes. Sara, do you see the contradiction? Leonardo leans forward slightly now. I see the system. Sara, which you benefit from. Leonardo, and attempt to influence. Audience gives that collective, oh. Sara holds his gaze. Is influencing from the inside enough? Leonardo, it's more effective than shouting from outside the gate. Sara, unless the gate never opens. That line pulls a bigger reaction than anything else. Leonardo pauses longer this time. Change is slow. Sara, that's what frustrates people. Leonardo, it frustrates me too. For the first time, the tension dips into something more mutual. Sara, so when young activists criticize you, what do you think? Leonardo, I think they're passionate. And they should be. Sara, even if they're criticizing you personally? Leonardo, especially then. Audience claps again, louder. Sara relaxes a little. Okay. Rapid fire. Lighter question. When you're not working, what do you do? Leonardo smiles faintly. Normal things. Sara grins. Define normal. Leonardo, read. Travel. Spend time with friends. Sara can't resist. Commercial flights. The audience bursts out laughing again. Leonardo shakes his head, smiling tighter now. Sometimes. Sara laughs. I walked into that one. Leonardo, you did. The tension is still present, but now it's layered with humor. Sara leans back. I think viewers appreciate when things aren't overly polished. Leonardo, neither do I. Sara, so let me ask you directly, did any of my questions feel unfair? The room goes quiet again. Leonardo thinks carefully. They felt pointed. Sara nods. That's my job. Leonardo, and I respect that. A soft wave of applause follows. Sara, but... Leonardo looks at her steadily. But sometimes tone shapes perception more than intent. There's an audible reaction from the audience. Sara absorbs that. Are you saying my tone was off? Leonardo doesn't back down. I'm saying the temperature shifted. Audience murmurs again. They remember that moment before the break. Sara takes a breath. Live television is messy. Leonardo, it is. Sara, but I don't shy away from hard conversations. Leonardo, neither do I. They sit in that for a second, two strong personalities holding ground without raising their voices. Sara finally smiles. Well, we've definitely had one. Leonardo allows a small smile back. The audience claps, not explosive, but respectful. The conversation hasn't exploded. No shouting. No insults. But the air is still charged. And everyone in the room knows this isn't just another routine promotional stop anymore. The applause fades again, but the room doesn't fully relax. There's still that buzz, like everyone knows this isn't a standard promo interview anymore. Sara adjusts slightly in her chair. This is what happens on live TV. You can't script real reactions. Leonardo nods. That's true. Sara looks at him directly. I want to be clear. My questions aren't meant to attack you. They reflect what people at home are already saying. Leonardo answers evenly. I get that. But sometimes the way a question is framed shapes the entire narrative. A soft murmur moves through the audience. Sara doesn't look away. So let's talk about the narrative. Headlines about you flying private while speaking on climate, those exist. Leonardo, they do. Sara, and people see them. Leonardo, yes. But repeating them over and over can make that the only story. Sara, ignoring them makes it look like you're avoiding it. Audience reacts, louder this time. Leonardo keeps steady. There's a difference between addressing criticism and centering it. Sara, but viewers want direct answers. Leonardo, and I'm giving them. Sara pauses. Do you think you're treated unfairly? Leonardo thinks for a second. I think I'm treated visibly. A few claps. Sara, meaning? Leonardo, meaning when you're famous, every action gets magnified. That doesn't make the criticism invalid, it just makes it louder. Sara nods slowly. Do you ever feel like the focus on your lifestyle distracts from the actual climate conversation? Leonardo, often. Audience murmurs in agreement. Sara, but lifestyle is part of climate impact. Leonardo, yes, but systemic reform drives long-term change. That's where my focus is. Sara tilts her head. So personal accountability isn't the priority? Leonardo responds quickly. It is. But it's not the entire solution. The audience reacts with a mix of applause and thoughtful silence. Sara leans in slightly. Earlier you said the temperature shifted. Are you still feeling that? The room goes quiet. Leonardo looks around briefly, then back at her. It feels intense. But honest. That earns a softer wave of applause. Sara, intensity isn't always a bad thing. Leonardo, no. It means people care. Sara, even when they're criticizing you? Leonardo, especially then. Audience claps louder. Sara changes direction slightly. Do you think celebrity culture contributes to excess? Leonardo answers without hesitation. Yes. A few surprised reactions from the crowd. Sara, and you're part of that culture. Leonardo, I am. Sara, so how do you reconcile it? Leonardo leans forward just a bit. By trying to redirect attention toward something constructive. If people are watching, I'd rather they hear about policy than parties. That line gets strong applause. Sara studies him carefully. But the attention still follows you personally. Leonardo, it does. And I accept that. Sara, do you ever worry the criticism undermines your message? Leonardo shakes his head slightly. I worry more about apathy. Criticism means engagement. Audience reacts positively to that. Sara nods. That's interesting. There's a brief pause, not tense, just reflective. Sara continues. Some younger activists are more confrontational. They don't want incremental change. They want immediate results. Does that clash with your approach? Leonardo, I understand their urgency. I've just seen change happen step by step. Sara, do you think they see you as part of the establishment now? That question hits. The audience lets out a collective, oh. Leonardo takes a breath. Maybe. I've been around a long time. Light laughter breaks the tension. Sara presses gently. Does that bother you? Leonardo, not as much as the idea of people giving up entirely. Audience applause returns, steadier now. Sara leans back slightly. I'll give you this, you're not shutting down. Leonardo offers a small smile. Walking out wouldn't help the conversation. The audience reacts strongly to that line. Sara smiles back. So we agree on something. Leonardo, probably more than it seems. That softens the room again. But even as the tone levels out, the edge is still there. Two strong perspectives, neither fully yielding. And it's clear to everyone watching that this conversation has gone far beyond just promoting a movie. The audience claps as the conversation begins to wind down, but the energy in the room is still palpable. Everyone senses something real just happened. Sara leans forward slightly, smiling but calm. Sara, all right, Leonardo, before we wrap up, I want to touch on the aftermath of these kinds of conversations. Daytime TV isn't always this honest. Leonardo nods. It rarely is. But it's important. Sara, you've been very open today. Do you think this will change how people perceive you? Leonardo considers it. Perception is tricky. Some people will be critical, some supportive. But the goal is to spark discussion, not to win approval. Audience murmurs in agreement. Sara, and judging by the reaction here, you certainly sparked it. You could feel the tension shift in real time. Leonardo, exactly. That's what I hope for, engagement that matters. The cameras pan to the audience, where people are whispering, nodding, some still applauding. You can see the energy isn't just from excitement. It's a mixture of surprise and appreciation for the candidness. Sara glances at her co-hosts off camera, but it's clear she's steering the show. You've always been thoughtful about environmental issues, but today, people saw the human side of it too. The pushback, the defense, the honesty. Leonardo, and that's part of being in the public eye. The human side matters. It's how people relate to issues. Sara, I think social media will have a field day with this one. Clips of today's conversation are going to trend instantly. Leonardo smiles faintly. That's fine. If it gets people talking about the bigger picture rather than just optics, it's worth it. Audience laughter and applause ripple through the studio. People clearly admire that balance, frankness without hostility. Sara, so after this, what's next for you? More advocacy? Back to Hollywood? Leonardo, a little of both. I'll keep working on projects I care about, films, environmental initiatives, policy work. And I'll continue having conversations, even when they're uncomfortable. Sara, that's fair. And as much as it might feel intense on a live show, I think viewers appreciate that honesty. They'll see you as someone willing to confront criticism rather than avoid it. Leonardo, that's the idea. The audience claps again, louder this time. Some stand, cheering. You can feel the mix of relief and admiration. It's been tense, yes, but authentic. Sara, and for those watching at home, We know social media is already buzzing. Clips of this segment are going to spark debates, Twitter threads, TikTok reactions. Leonardo chuckles. I know. It's inevitable. Sara, but that's the point. Real dialogue matters, even if it's messy. And it certainly happened today. Audience claps one more time, some whistling. Cameras pan back to Sara and Leonardo, both smiling, not theatrically, but with mutual acknowledgement. They navigated tension, disagreement, and honesty together. Sara leans in slightly. So to wrap things up, Leonardo DiCaprio, thank you for being candid, for standing your ground, and for engaging in these real conversations on climate and accountability. Leonardo, thank you for having me. And thank you to the audience for sticking through it. Sara turns back to the camera. And to everyone watching at home, what did you think of today's conversation? Do you agree with Leonardo? Do you think he handled criticism well? Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to Final Take Files for more real talk show stories. The audience claps and cheers one last time as the camera slowly zooms out, capturing the energy, the discussion, and the sense that something genuine just unfolded live on air. Social media would be buzzing within minutes, clips already circulating, sparking debate, praise, and critique alike, the kind of reaction that makes a live talk show moment unforgettable. Sara gives a small, satisfied nod. Live TV can be messy, yes, but it can also be real. And today, real one. The segment ends, leaving viewers with that mix of tension, insight, and authenticity, the kind of conversation that gets remembered long after the cameras stop rolling.